We've always had room in our hearts for film and TV, not just on Netflix, but tape and disc and theaters. Also, God forbid that they take it all away and leave us nothing to broadcast to loyal listeners. We'll binge watch every single movie, so you don't have to. What else are we here for? Coming to you every week. Listen to us while you're busy. Luckily, we forgot to grow up. Hey everybody, it's Craig.
Hey, it's Scott.
Hey, it's Andrew.
Welcome to episode number 48 of the Forgot to Grow Up podcast. On this week's episode, we're going to talk about one of the actors I really don't like at all.
Are we talking about Train 48?
We're not talking about Train 48 because that's one of the best shows that Canada has ever created. Okay? No.
Okay.
Okay. Fight me on that. I dare you. We'll do a whole episode on it. Let's go.
Bring it, world.
Let's talk. Well, we're going to talk about Adam Sandler. And then we're all going to talk about how he hasn't done anything important in the last 10 years. And anybody else
I think we can all agree on that point, actually.
Yep, that's going to happen.
To start off the bat. If you guys are fans of his Netflix stuff, you probably don't want to listen to this episode.
This is going to be the constructive criticism episode where you get to think about your tastes and maybe reconsider them. And then we
realize that we only tell you about the good stuff.
Exactly. And then we're going to talk about what we watched this week. And it's going to be great. You're going to love it. Because I said so. All right.
Ooh.
Adam Sandler.
That's very threatening.
You're welcome, everybody.
But I'm kind of glad, Craig, that you have such passionate dislike for Adam Sandler.
He's one of the few actors where I can actually say, no, I don't like anything you do. Kevin Hart is like second on that list.
Oh, that's
very
interesting.
Along with Chelsea Handler, but she's in her own little category.
Well, she has her own league of just don't watch it. Ever.
Yeah. I sound kind of cynical, pessimistic when I start to go over the list of actors that I don't like, so I'm going to stop. Cuz it gets
He
long.
only likes 4 or 5 actors.
Yeah, there's no one else.
And they're all named Ted Danson.
Exactly. That wasn't the direction I was going in, but sure.
That works too.
It all works.
Ted Danson and Bob Saget. That's it. Sorry, guys.
That's it. Especially if they're curling movies that Craig self-produces. So my list, I was going over the IMDb page for Mr. Sandler. Because
in this day and age of Google, how else do you acquire the list of what are you gonna call the library?
Excuse me.
I did visit my library website.
Do you guys have Adam Sandler values yet?
Call the Blockbuster Video.
You guys have Adam Sandler
video
yet?
Up. I miss Blockbuster
on the telephone.
That's a very old-fashioned sentence. But in my list of movies by Adam Sandler that I liked, a lot shorter than I thought it was going to be honest with you.
I could have told you
there was
that.
A lot of movies where I was like, you know what? I watched it, but wasn't my favorite thing ever.
That's fair.
And I feel like half of Scott's list is the ones that I was like, meh.
Potentially, yeah. That's very possible. I went through a phase when I was younger where I really enjoyed his earlier stuff.
I liked his stuff before, like, not when he first started, and not when he started, like, self-producing stuff, and he made the super weird things.
Yeah.
In there's a window where he was funny enough, yet there was also some compassion.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. I feel like we'll have some good crossovers here. So what's first? What's one of the ones on your list?
My first one, and it's actually one of my all-time like top 50 movies. It's 50 First Dates.
And see, that's not even on my list.
I love that movie.
It's one of the few movies on Adam Sandler's IMDb page that I've actually seen. 50 First Dates.
I thoroughly enjoy it.
I don't remember.
No, I see why you could.
Hating it.
Yeah, like, I'm just very neutral about it.
Mm-hmm.
Now that I think about it, like one of the things that like always gets me on the Adam Sandler movies, and I know it just hit me right now. Gotta say it. I don't like that they recycle characters. Like everyone from his like clique or someone who was always in all the other movies is in every movie. It kind of bugs me when they do stuff like that. Like I want to see I want to see some separation. I don't want to be like, "Oh, there's this guy and that guy and this guy," unless it's grown-ups. That's the only time I'm going to let it slide.
That's a fair exception. I don't mind that as much. I kind of found it fun back in the day, and I like his reasoning for it because they're all his genuine friends, and he just likes being able to pay his friends to hang out with him on movies. I respect that. I really respect that.
Even if the quality suffers.
You know,
You mean
People-
even? What do you mean
people are
even
still
if it
watching them.
suffers?
Like
Sorry,
somebody's
even
watching
when the
these things.
quality suffers.
Like
No one said they were smart, Scott.
the
I
dad.
wasn't saying that either. I was
Like,
saying
true-
I just respect that they get to just get paid millions of dollars to hang out with their buddies.
Rob Schneider's and everything. Freaking Kevin James is in 50 First Dates
Yeah.
as like the one gay hookup that Adam Sandler's character had, and they just slide him into the intro, and there is no reason for him to be there.
I'm totally forgetting that
Okay,
scene now.
the movie starts off where it's showing like all the women he hooked up with.
Okay. Oh,
Okay,
right.
and they're talking. They're like, oh, he
I
was
forgot
this,
about the
he was
montage.
that,
Yeah.
he was amazing, and then it's just women like beautiful woman, beautiful woman, beautiful woman.
Yeah,
Kevin
yeah.
James, beautiful woman, and they all just say his name, and you're like, oh, ha ha ha, yeah, that was funny. But at the same time, I was like, it didn't need to be Kevin James. Could have been just some random dude.
Yeah, fair. I forgot that was Kevin James.
And then you go over to Drew Barrymore's dad in this movie, and he plays like the coach in Waterboy.
Oh, right.
He plays the mushmouth one who's like, here's
yeah. I forgot about that. I never even really made that connection before.
And like I said before, Grown Ups is the only one I'm willing to let all these guys slide. Like the linebacker in Waterboy who can't look straight.
Yep.
The one who was also in Spaceballs as one of the one of the gunners. He's my
forgot about
cousin. Like I'll let it slide that he's in that one just because Grown Ups. If you're allowed to be in whatever because I love those movies, but it bugs me like just a little bit
I can see
that they recycle all his buddies into all these movies. However, 50 First Dates was a good movie. I like the story behind it. I like that he's committed, and this is really one of the first times you get to see Adam Sandler and not just a joking all the time role, and more of like a rom-com situation.
That's true. Yeah.
Not nothing but comedy. I mean, there's a lot of forced jokes. I just
Yeah,
realized
but
Rob
not
Schneider's the super weird guy in this movie. Just kidding.
always
That's
this-
all the movies.
Yeah, that's all he could play.
Rob Schneider's a super weird guy.
True. But next up on my list, because I'm drawing a massive blank on all Adam Sandler movies right now. They all merged into one.
Oh, they're
like,
all
in
the
my
same
head.
movie.
That's
Yeah.
part of why I don't like the guy.
Next up, I'm gonna say Waterboy,
I actually
and
kind of like that.
just because I was already talking about that one, and I do enjoy that one as well.
Waterboy's great. That's one of the ones on my list.
My only major detriment in it is the girl he's in love with. I don't like her. I like the character. I don't like her.
I
I would have liked to
that.
see it someone else, like anyone else.
I get that, and I could understand that. That makes sense. She was slightly off-putting when I was younger because
Yeah.
we didn't have goth girls or chicks like that around Welland. I
Nope.
wasn't used to it. It was abrupt. It was weird.
I don't like it. Change it. But no, I thoroughly enjoyed that movie. I love that the Fonz is in it.
Yeah, it's a great. Like he's the coach, and
Yeah.
Henry
he has
Winkler
such a
is the
great
best.
show. Yeah. That's a good
Gatorade.
movie. H2O.
Oh. Water sucks and Gatorade rocks.
But
The
Mama
fact
said, but Mama said, but Mama said. Oh, I love that movie. It's so
Mama
good.
said alligators are ornery.
Because
And that was where I learned the word ornery from. So
Same,
I
actually,
guess you get to learn some stuff from Adam Sandler movie.
and the what's it called? Oh, the word I can't pronounce now that they like say a bunch of times. That's
you
like,
mean half of our podcast episode titles?
yeah, exactly. But no, during that scene where he's like, my mama said alligators are ornery because they're, and then the professor's like, it's because they're a dubla. Yeah, I'm not
medulla
gonna
oblongata.
that word, yes. That was the word I was looking for. I knew I couldn't say it right. Wasn't gonna try.
Probably a good call. It was also like super super fucking like weird, but also hilarious to see Kathy Bates as his mom.
In a scene where she wasn't breaking people's legs.
Yes. Or being a badass businesswoman who comes from
Sabre.
Florida and owns Sabre. Sabre. Sabri?
The Office is such a good show.
Somehow we ended up on that instead of Adam Sandler. Because Kathy Bates is everything. Kathy Bates is a good actress because she kind of has to be. Next up, I now pronounce you Chicken Larry. Not Chuck, according to this. I now pronounce you Chicken Larry.
Nice.
Nice.
Never seen it.
That's the one where Adam Sandler and Kevin James, go figure, they're firefighters, and then they I forget which one it was. I want to say it was
Kevin
Larry.
James.
It was Kevin James. Like he needs like health insurance or something for his kid, and the only way he can make it work is if they get like he's married. But is if like he has to marry a guy in order to get like some type of special tax exemption or something like that because the IRS is on him or something like that. I can't remember. It's been a long time. You get to see Jessica Biel's butt, which is the best part of the movie. The best part of the movie.
I feel like that's the only reason you have this movie on
It
your
was
list
raining
whatsoever.
outside. They go
I
into
know
the
what scene you're
apartment.
talking about. That's the first time I saw a nice.
She takes it off, and you see the butt while she's looking at her stuff, and you're like, damn.
Yep.
That was back when she had like the best butt in the world, according to some magazine that I read. And then she turns around and they're talking about how her boobs are real and everyone thinks they're fake. So Adam Sandler got to get a honka out of it just because Jessica Biel said so.
I guess that's where the focus of that movie went. Next movie.
Do you guys have anything else to add about Jessica Biel's butt movie?
Nope.
No, because I never saw the movie because it had Adam Sandler in it.
Fair enough. Next up, I got The Longest Yard.
Yep, I knew
Also
that was
didn't see
coming.
that.
That's a great one.
This is a good one. This is a nostalgic flick for me.
Yeah.
Nostalgia flick.
This was back just before high school.
I like it.
Yeah. Amalgam of the words.
It's called a portmanteau.
Portmanteau. But this one, I really enjoyed it. It's just a clusterfuck of all actors.
Yeah, a bunch
rappers.
of cameos. Just.
If you wanted to be in this movie, you could be in this movie.
And
I
you were
gather.
slightly athletic or completely not.
Yeah, Joey Diaz.
Joey Diaz, yeah.
Can of corn.
Can of corn.
Can of corn. Like
Cheeseburger Eddie.
Ain't no meatloaf between these buns. Like just so many ridiculous spots. Just people having fun. A lot of wrestlers in that movie too.
Yeah, which makes sense. First and only acting role of Nelly, I believe. You might have to fact check me on that.
Let's
But
find out. Shall we continue talking?
major
about this
release movie at least.
Yeah. He gets to play a running back. You got actually they had quite a few people who used to play football at one point in
That's
their
what I
career.
feel
Who like the
was a
guards?
big- yeah.
Like they're like Stone Cold Steve Austin was an awesome choice.
Oh yeah.
To thrust him in on as the middle linebacker, number X,
Yeah, he fit right in there.
with his hammer. But then I'm pretty sure a lot of the guards used to play football at one point.
Yeah, I think I remember seeing that in the special features. One of the few movies I've actually watched special features of.
Like
Surprisingly.
I know, I forget his first name, but something Romanowski, Bill Romanowski, I think. He played for a lot of teams. I want to say he played for the Raiders, but I know he played for the Broncos. Won a whole bunch of Super Bowls. He was in it. He plays one of the linebackers. Super weird. I'm pretty sure the super feminine guy when they give him all the
Bill
estrogen
Romanowski.
pills. Bill, yeah, is that what I said?
What you said, yeah.
Yeah, love that guy. He was in BMS. He was the brother-in-law to the coach. He came in the one day and he was teaching them how to like poke you in the eye, punch you in the groin,
Yeah, no, I
all
remember
the
this
different
guy.
ways to assault someone on the field and get away with it.
Yep, I'm remembering that episode now.
Anyways, they had quite a few of the like actual football players at one point in their life playing as the guards, which was pretty cool.
Yeah, no, it had actually some quality like football scenes in it, which is one thing I really liked about it because, like, some of them were a little ridiculous, like Adam Sandler doing anything. But
Yep.
other than that,
doing anything.
you know what
I like that it was a remake, but it wasn't really a remake. It was more of like a continuation
yeah,
of the original.
yeah, with have it, and we haven't even mentioned the best man in it,
The
Burt Reynolds.
mustache. The mustache.
That mustache,
Especially
that
because
man.
he was the star of the first one, so it was
Yes,
cool to see them
exactly.
bring back his character.
Yeah, and then him being like the kind of veteran coach
Yeah.
guy. Yeah, no, I
We're
really
number
like that.
23. The only thing I remember from the original is that they do the drop kick, where they bounce the ball and kick it through the uprights for the 3 points. That is the only thing I remember from the original.
I don't know if I ever watched it or not.
You don't need to, because the Adam Sandler one's way better. You don't need to watch the original.
Was it Michael Irving?
Yeah, Michael Irvin. He
Yeah.
plays wide receiver number 88 in real life and in our hearts.
Yeah.
But he was the badass basketball shooting guy.
Yeah, which I was gonna say.
Who plays against Adam Sandler.
Adam Sandler's gotta put basketball into every freaking movie as much as possible. Like he even put it in 8 Crazy Nights,
Well,
which is an animated movie.
That's one of my favorite Adam Sandler movies.
Same, but it's still, my point being, he puts it into everything, including one that he could have had any sport.
Anything. It could have been friggin' like
It could have been hockey, which is a little more winter themed.
nope, basketball. Winter basketball.
Winter basketball, yeah.
In a Jewish basketball league. Because it has to be specific.
Yeah, well, I like that he always sticks to that, the Hanukkah song and stuff like that. Like, I like that he's proud of it.
Yeah, that he stands by it.
Yeah. I don't know how we got to this from The Longest Yard, to be honest. That was my bad.
I don't know. It's a smooth transition because 8 Crazy Nights is also on my list.
Yes, I figured as much. I feel like we talked about this maybe during our Christmas
our
episode.
Christmas one.
Definitely
100%.
talked about it during our Christmas episode.
Okay.
And we're going to talk about it again on our next Christmas episode, season 2.
Yeah.
But
no,
next I've got one that I don't totally remember all of it, but I do remember enjoying it the 2-3 times I've seen it, and that's Bedtime Stories. It's a children's movie, but it was a lot better than I thought it was going to be. I feel like there was just some good-looking women in it. I'm pretty sure that is the only reason I appreciated it.
I'm remembering that movie now that you mention it, and I like the idea behind it was pretty creative too. I liked that at the time. I don't have that on my list, but I'd also forgotten that movie existed.
Let's see. We got some Carrie Russell. We got Courtney Cox again. Okay. Lucy Lawless. Okay, yeah. This is probably the only reason I appreciated it.
I feel like that's going to make up a lot of this list of yours.
Yeah, probably.
That was actually the last Adam Sandler movie I watched on purpose.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
What was your thoughts on it?
It was alright. I haven't watched it since.
Did it put you to sleep?
That was the intention, wasn't it? You're supposed to be asleep by half of it, so you don't watch the second half. I had Russell Brand in it too, who's also on my list of actors that I can't stand.
Yeah. The only time I give Russell Brand a hall pass is in Forgetting Sarah Marshall
Yep.
Yeah, he
and
fits
Rock
that
of
role.
Ages.
That's
it.
Yep,
I
he
haven't
does fit
seen
both
Rock
those
of
very
Ages,
well.
so I can't vouch for that. But I tolerate him in Forgetting Sarah Marshall.
Because that's a fantastic movie, and he just
mostly
plays a
because
dick.
of all of the people around him and the
Yep.
story, and has nothing to do with him in any way.
And he's technically kind of the bad guy of the movie too.
Yeah, he's
so I feel
like a super weird antagonist, and the only
Yeah.
reason he's there is because he was banging
Sarah Marshall. Yeah.
who she gets a hall pass from me too and everything, because she's amazing. Next up on my list, I've got Click.
Yes, I love Click. Christopher Walken. Right?
Amazing movie.
Yeah. So great. I like the premise of this one. It's a little bit. It was again one of those ones where he showed that he's not just straight comedy either, right? Like,
Yeah.
This is one of the first ones where he had a family already, I believe.
I like the concept that he's fast forwarding through life to get through stuff.
Yeah.
Just to get by, but it's the connotation of it that he's not there for everything.
Yeah.
He's just skipping over it. And he's fast forwarding through life, but he's also skipping over his life. He's not in the moment they're living it. He's
it does
trying
have
to
a
live.
really, really deep message in
like
it.
it's super deep. Like the fact that he just fast forwards through time and wakes up like 40 years later at like his daughter's wedding type thing.
Yeah.
Wouldn't have been 40 years later, but many moons.
Whatever it was, yeah.
Next Tuesday he wakes up and he's like, oh man, what happened? You know, wife's remarried. They're at the kid's wedding. Life is just so different. He's just a bum. Life sucks. And I think like the deep message behind that is like, just don't let life pass you by. You know, live in the fucking moment.
Yeah, it's about the journey, not the destination.
Yeah. I like that. That's like it's fucking wedged in there.
Yeah, and it's done just really well. Like it's a well taught lesson. Like, yeah, I like movies that teach a lesson, and it's like I wouldn't say it's super obvious, but it's also not like you don't have to decode the movie too much to pick up on that message either, right? You have to just you know what I mean? It's like it's in that middle ground where it's just easy to like interpret. You kind of just pick up on that message. You're like, yeah. You shouldn't have a thing that can fast forward through stuff. 100%. You'll miss so much.
One of those kind of like Jim Carrey, the Bruce Almighty.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Like something like that, where like, yeah, sure, you have the powers of the Almighty Lord. However, should you have those powers? Probably not.
Definitely not if you're Jim Carrey.
Definitely not.
I've seen some of his paintings, which I love, but they're dark. They're a little dark.
Yeah.
Anyways, what's next up on your list?
Next up on my list, I have anger management.
Yeah, I didn't put that one down. I didn't love that one.
I really liked it just because the
reason
I liked it was the ridiculous things that his anger got him into.
Oh yeah, see that's
like.
That's the frustrating part about that movie too for me, because I have slight anger problems, and I'm like, no, and I would fall into this whole situation because that's my luck, and I have slight anger like that too.
The part where he pisses off the monks,
like
I really enjoyed that part.
I would have punched Jack Nicholson in the face so early in the movie if I was that guy. I would not have put up with anything. I just would have given up on my life and just beat him to
especially
death.
the stealing in quotations, the stealing his girlfriend, and then like the fake proposal and stuff. Like
so much of it. You wouldn't even gotten that far. You would have been punched so much sooner in that movie. I am so much angrier of a person than Adam Sandler, and that's why I can't watch that movie. Just reminds me of that.
That's fair. I mean, honestly, the last time I watched it, I was probably 15 years old.
Yeah, definitely.
But younger Andrew liked it, and he probably had some anger built up inside him. So maybe he was like, you know what? You do you, Adam Sandler.
Yeah,
get it out how you can. I play football. That's how I get rid of it. You play basketball and sing songs about Hanukkah. Maybe you need to punch somebody in the face because those aren't exactly the most violent activities out there.
Yeah, but he just ends up shouting in this movie, and I'm like, ugh. I have sensitive ears.
And honestly, when he does yell, like he gets a little,
yeah.
Like, there's like a joke squeezed in there.
Yeah, yeah.
Like he doesn't take it seriously.
Yeah, exactly. He's not 100% sincere about it. Like, yeah.
Next up, I've got Grown Ups 1 and 2, which obviously have to be on my list.
Yep.
Because I love those movies.
They're great ensemble movies. Fun.
The first one was actually a really good movie. The second one was just everyone in Hollywood. They're like, yo, Taylor Lautner, you want to be all up in this movie and do some front flips? And he's like, yeah, cool. I'll do that shit.
Shaq showed up. Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
Like,
he breaks his way out of a bed. They pee in the pool. They recycle a joke from the first one.
Yeah.
Why not? Why not?
Why not?
Stone Cold Steve Austin shows up again as a badass.
I forgot about that.
Yep. Everyone's in that movie.
Yeah, there's so many people.
Nick Swardsden's just a super weird dude. I mean, he's just a super weird dude to begin with, so that makes sense. And the last thing on my list is Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Because he was in an episode?
Because he was in one episode.
I feel like I haven't gone to that episode. Oh, no, I do remember that episode.
Season 1.
He was just himself, right?
Yep, yeah.
Okay, yeah, no,
him and Joe Theismann are there at at an auction.
Right! I was trying to remember which episode it is, but it always gets drowned out in the "my other leg."
Yeah, yeah.
Because that's the best joke
ever
of all time.
Of anything, yeah. Because that was a career-ending move, and it was just so funny.
It was a smart joke. It required you to know that Joe Theismann had broken
yeah.
his thigh at one point on live television.
I feel like that's pretty.
Looking at you, Lawrence Taylor. Looking at you.
That's.
But that completes my list.
All right. Well, you got, I would say about half the ones off my list.
Oh, now I'm intrigued.
Yeah. So now I'm curious which ones of these you despise, Andrew, or don't like as much. We know Craig obviously doesn't like any of them.
Hey. I've liked The Waterboy.
That's fair. Okay. I retract my statement. He dislikes it all but The Waterboy.
I'm trying to remember if
That's all that matters.
Not memorable. Anyway, Scott.
All right. Well, the first one on my list is Happy Gilmore. It's a little cliche, but I really enjoyed this one. It was one of my first exposures to Adam Sandler. It's almost at the point of anger management, him yelling too much, but not quite. And I just kind of enjoyed the premise mostly, and just Adam Sandler fit really well in this kind of, slacker type dude coming in and just disrupting the game of golf. I just like that premise, that underdog premise,
Is it because you hate golf?
Well, no, this is before I had appreciation for golf.
Okay.
I should say. So I watched this movie long before I could even
That's fair.
golf or I'd ever tried golfing. So
Before your first hole in 12. Long before my first hole in 12.
12 is a good day.
Yep.
That's after I only lost like 15 in the lake next to the hole.
Teeing off.
Yep.
No practice swings, right, Craig?
Never practice.
Never.
swings.
Because you golf better when you don't practice.
You golf better when it's 46 degrees in the shade.
Yep. When you sweat out so much water that even drinking like 16 liters of water that day, you don't pee once.
Yep.
Not even once.
Yeah, so Happy Gilmore. I just like it.
Me too, actually.
Yeah, it's not
See,
too bad.
I didn't like it. Like,
Yeah, I felt like this was one of the ones you probably didn't.
yeah. Between that one and the other one he does
Billy
where he goes
Madison.
to school. Yeah.
Yeah, that was the next
Not
one on
for
my
me.
list. Again, these were my first exposures to him, so I feel like that has a big part of why I like them.
See, for me that was right before his window of like my window of compassion that he shows.
I
slides
see,
in.
like it's funny because like I'm looking at your the list and I was crossing out the ones you said and I'm like, yeah, yours all come after all the ones that I didn't cross off, and I'm like, yeah, this is you like just after he was guilty, and I liked his kind of rise to fame. I would say are a lot of the ones I have on my list. Like I feel like they're a lot of the ones that the common folk would know, or you know what I mean. Like most people know these ones, right? So like Billy Madison, I like obviously because. Again, it's a lot of the premises of these like comedies that I like because they're fairly unique for the most part, and Billy Madison's a little bit. These are also a couple borderline ones too, I should say.
They're not your favorite movies ever,
No,
but they're
they
they
are.
make the list.
Yeah, well, because I had to talk about something. I was looking at stuff.
That's
and I'm like,
true.
I don't have a single one of his movies in the last 10 years, so I'm like, okay, I got to do something. Same
Yeah.
with the next one, like Little Nicky. I'm like, I like that one because the premise is-
Honestly, I totally forgot about that movie.
yeah, that was fun because he's the wimpy son of the devil and
Yeah.
gets sent to Earth and
He has the super emo hair in that, doesn't he?
yeah,
Where he's
super
like,
emo hair. Yeah, and he's got
Yeah.
and he's got a big parka on, a big orange parka. He eats Popeyes. Yeah, it's a ridiculous movie, but it's just that it just fit perfectly when I was at that age, just of ridiculousness and just funny, while at the same time just being like such a new idea for a comedy. Like we don't get very many of those kind of comedies anymore, especially like. When's the last time we saw a movie about the devil's son that was a comedy, right? Like
who is the devil? Is it?
Ooh, that's
Was it Rodney
Give
Dangerfield?
me 2 seconds. I had it. Right
I know.
here.
I know. It was
honestly
like.
don't
I know
know
it
his
was.
name. I could tell you other
I
movies.
know it was
he
one
in.
of the comedians that used to make like just super snarky like quick remarks. Be like, oh, I walked to my wife fucking the mailman,
It's
so I
Rodney
guess I get free
Dangerfield.
postage.
It's Rodney Dangerfield.
Okay, yeah. Well, just one of those guys who just rhymes off jokes, just boom, boom, boom,
Yep.
and just lives
Yep.
for that.
No respect.
Boom, yeah.
No, that's his grandfather.
That's Lucifer.
Oh, okay. I knew he was in it though.
Yeah. I was confused because I'm like, no, his dad's a dude with a goatee that was in National Treasure.
Antonio Banderas?
No.
Harvey Keitel.
The reason I said it, he was in National Treasure, was because I don't know his name.
So you're saying it's not Harvey Keitel?
I'm saying I don't know if it is.
That looks about right. To the IMDb page for Harvey Keitel. Let's see.
National Treasure Book of Secrets. He was Sedesky.
There we go.
Okay.
There
yeah.
we go.
Yeah, so he was the agent in that. So yeah, that guy. He was the devil. And his brother. His brother was some. What was his brother? Is somebody looking at the little Nicky Wikipedia or not Wikipedia
Yep.
IMDb page? What do you see? Who played his brother?
Oh, what was his brother's name? Yep.
Something
lots of
Lucifer.
first names.
Something
Rice
that-
Adrian?
Probably. That sounds like a good guess.
So Reese Ifans?
Yeah. He was the guy who played the lizard in The Amazing Spider-Man.
That guy. Yeah. That's
Yeah.
why I recognized him. That's the connection I was trying to make. I'm like, what superhero movie was that guy in that I remember?
He's the most Welsh person to ever exist.
Yes.
Like my number one thing I associate this guy with is in the 5-Year Engagement, where he's got the dog.
The other one.
And they're talking to him about the dog. He's like,
Yeah.
my name's Greerth. And he's like, Greerth? No, Greerth. And he says says the name that's probably spelled like Qutx, 47 Y's and a th sound. Greerth.
Yeah, no,
Like that-
yeah, exactly. He's got a lot of those roles. So I'm just like, oh yeah, that's what he was in. And that, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's all I gotta say about Little Nicky. Just talking about different actors in it. What else do I got? Big Daddy is next on my list, which
That was this
that
one
would've
where
hit
names
me
the
in
kid
the
Frankenstein, right? And he just lets the kid eat ketchup.
the kid named himself Frankenstein in his defense.
That's
He didn't. He was just trying to let the kid be a kid, which you can't fully do. And I just like the lesson he learned in it. It was really heartfelt. It was one of the few movies when I was younger that I was like, "Aw,
Aw.
he lost the kid." And then Jon Stewart adopts the kid because it's technically his kid. It's a whole thing. It was craziness. It's just, I don't know. I just really enjoyed it. You know, you got Scuba Steve in it. It's just got it again. All these came out when I was at just a young age. That just
like
sunk
Mr.
into
Deeds.
me. Exactly.
Just
that's the next one.
like stupid corny movies that just
Hit
suck
you.
you in. Okay, I can
They give me
write
the
that
feels
off.
a little bit, right? Just because I'm just like,
I can write that
"Aw."
off.
And Mr. Deeds again, he's just a small town guy and just somehow inherits this big multi-million thing, and then at the end he buys everybody a Corvette. That's my favorite thing. He buys
feel
everyone a
like-
Corvette.
I feel like Mr. Deeds is like the white guy version of like Brewster's Millions. Like they're like you could hybrid those and make one movie.
It's pretty close, except like he didn't have to spend all his money though. He kind of just
No, he just did.
he did because he didn't have anything. Like he didn't know what to do with it, right? Like he just had all this money and he was, you know. But yeah,
Why not?
exactly.
Y'all want Corvettes? Y'all got cars?
But I only got two more things to mention, which were Airheads was the last movie I had of his to mention, which he's not the
What's
star
that
of. He's the third. So the Airheads has Brandon Fraser,
Airheads. It does not sound familiar at
another
all.
guy. It's about these three dudes who are in a band, and Adam Sandler's one of them. He's the dumb, pretty boy drummer, and then Brandon Fraser is the lead singer. And they're just in a shitty like 80s band, and they're trying to get their single played on a radio, and then they end up taking over the radio station. And I just I like that movie. Is the only reason I bring it up. And Adam Sandler was in it, and he says very little in it because he's the quiet guy.
Which is the first time ever.
Yeah, because this was one of his very, very early roles. Like this was pre all these other ones. This was during his SNL days, which was the only other thing I had to mention. I enjoy some of his SNL skits.
I always forget Adam Sandler's in this.
See,
Like my mind immediately goes to like Steve Buscemi.
That's fair. I could see that. Like I said, it's because he doesn't talk that much, and he doesn't play Adam Sandler in this movie, right? Like most movies, he plays Adam Sandler doing something, right? Whereas Airheads, he's playing the role he was supposed to, right? Like he's actually being an actor in this movie,
Like
does an okay job if that was what his role was supposed to be.
Well, even The Wedding Singer, like that's one where like sometimes like he's he shows some depth, and then all of a sudden he's like, oh, never mind, it's fucking Adam Sandler. Never mind.
Yeah.
He just made a super snarky remark that no one would let slide in real life.
Yeah, that's true. I have not seen The Wedding Singer that many times, just because, I don't know, I watched it it was, again, one of those movies I watched when I was younger, but the only one I didn't connect to out of those original of his.
Because you don't sing, Scott.
Yeah. It's definitely it. It's 100% the reason.
100% the reason.
Yeah. But that's the end of my list, pretty much. I couldn't think of anything else of his that I actually liked. I've not seen any of his Netflix shows.
See, that's where I come in.
Yeah.
Boom. Save it for last.
Because I watched the week of, not by choice.
I remember talking about this when you watched it, and you said it was kind of weird.
I didn't like it. I can't remember why I didn't like it.
You just did it.
I remember you. Okay, was the premise that like it was him competing with like the bride's father or the groom's father or something?
It was the
other in-law.
Father. Yep, I think it was the groom's father.
Competing with him, but then it ended up being like Chris Rock was, he was having more time, and the family liked him better than his own family did.
So they were rich in opposite parts of their lives, where Adam Sandler was not money rich, even though if he sold his house he would be, because he lived in Long Island. And Chris Rock was very money rich because he lived in California, but didn't spend much time with his family, and his divorced with his wife and all kinds of stuff like that. So they were kind of on opposite ends, and they kind of met in the middle. It was crappy like that.
Sounds about right.
Predictable.
And then Chris Rock becomes the guy who has it all.
Yep.
Which therefore makes Adam Sandler jealous.
Yeah, so the answer is be a dentist and move to California, kids.
Yep, sounds
That's
about right.
The only way
It
to
does
better.
sound like the lesson I've learned from most movies.
That's the easiest way to move to be better than Adam Sandler is become a dentist and move to California.
Every dentist in every movie is always loaded to the tits with money. All the time.
That's just every dentist.
Yeah.
And then Tim, sometimes you get to ride a motorcycle with a whole bunch of guys, and you call yourself the Wild Hogs. You get to meet Paul Senior from
American Chopper,
who's just not a badass. He's just a super chill dude. In the movie.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
dude's crazy in real life.
Well, I feel like his in the show is not maybe even his real life. I feel like they amped that up. That was early reality TV. I remember watching that with my dad. That Monster
show was
Garage.
awesome.
That was great.
Awesome.
It's on Crave, and I've been thinking about I'm gonna watch.
Is
a
it?
couple of those.
Fuck yes.
Yeah,
oh my god, yes.
Oh yeah.
I knew there was a reason I paid for it.
Yeah, it's like you got rid of Flash. Oh, but you got that, and you got
ACC. Okay.
Okay, yeah. I'll stick around a little bit. Oh, Monster Garage? Okay, I'm around for a few more months.
Okay, cool.
I like
cool.
Monster Garage.
Sounds good.
Yeah, why not?
So, yeah, that was not the only thing on my list.
Okay, I wasn't sure. I was still trying to transition to. What other ones have you seen that we haven't mentioned?
Well, I just was digging through the bottom of his IMDb page, where no one else goes, and found some credits for The Cosby Show.
Yeah, I saw that.
Child actor. Good for him.
Yeah, I think it was when he was a teenager and he was just somebody's boyfriend or just a friend that came and threw
a
an
few
episode.
episodes of it too.
You see, and I vaguely remember that too.
He was
I think
he was Smitty for
seen
4
that episode.
or 5 episodes, something like that. It doesn't matter.
That's not memorable at all.
But the only true credit that I have for Adam Sandler is that when he was on Saturday Night Live, he is credited to be in an episode that the Tragically Hip were also on. So, improvement by association. And I guess I need to add that he was also credited in an episode that Bob Saget was on, and I kind of led the show off by saying that Bob Saget's one of my top actors. So I have to say that credit by association for Mr. Adam Sandler.
I'll let it slide this time.
That's all I got.
All right.
Sounds good.
I guess we're moving on to what we watched this week
Yeah,
already.
let's talk about what we watched this week.
Well,
Scott.
Scott, you said you had a long list,
Yeah,
so why
go
don't you
for
hit
it,
us
buddy.
first?
I had a few things. I watched a bunch of stand-up this weekend. Well, not a
Oh,
bunch.
shit.
Not as much as you guys normally do. I watched a bunch for me. So I watched
So like
Bert
3,
Kreister's- 4. I watched 4.
4. Okay.
So I watched Bert Kreischer?
Kreischer.
Secret Time that just got
Secret-
added.
Secret Time.
Secret Time. Some. I can't remember any of his secrets. But yeah,
Secret
I really
Time.
enjoyed it.
My daughter keeps deodorant in the fridge.
I don't trust anyone else to wear deodorant.
Secret Time. My dad shit his pants at a Banana Republic.
The best joke is the pajama joke, I think.
Yeah.
That one
Oh
absolutely kills
god,
me.
that was great. Yeah, the only time he
Oh.
ever made his dad laugh.
Oh, pajamas.
And then my dad
Oh.
looks at all the other
Does some
all
quick
the other
math.
gifts, does the quick math,
Oh, you're a fucking idiot.
and I love that all of his impressions are the exact same voice. Even when he does daughter, it's that same dad voice.
And they all talk the same too.
Yes.
Everyone calls everybody big guy in Bert Kreischer's life. Hey, big guy. More milk.
Yeah, but it was super enjoyable, and clearly you both have seen it.
Yes, we have.
Yep. Yes, sir.
Yeah, but yeah, I really enjoyed it. I've watched it because he's on Joe Rogan a bunch, and I
Yeah.
like when he's on Joe Rogan, so I was like, yeah, give it a try.
Hey,
And
he's
it
a pretty
was
funny
worth it.
dude.
Yeah, he's really funny.
His comedy's more just like, hey, I have fun with life, which is
Which so
we
at
all know
first-
I prefer the story comedy.
Yeah.
Like my favorite comedians are the ones who tell stories.
for sure.
I don't like observational humor or stuff
Yeah.
like that. I just like situations where you're like, ha, that's fucking hilarious.
Exactly. Yeah.
You can tie it in with observations, but like I want to hear like just stupid stuff where you're like, yeah, okay, that's pretty funny.
Yeah. No, I agree. I forgot what my
Like-
point was going to be about him now.
You've seen him on Joe Rogan's podcast a bunch of times.
Yeah. Oh, so what thank you. So I wasn't for sure if I'd like his stand up because I think I've seen something before, and the fact that he's always shirtless puts me off just a little bit.
I
'cause
thought
I'm
it
like,
would too.
yeah, well,
Because
because
he
it's just like,
starts that way, but then you just forget it.
yeah, well, I thought it was gonna be more of a thing than it was. You know what I mean? And it wasn't. So that's like just me judging a book by its cover. You know what I mean? And I'm like, okay, fine. It wasn't
Yeah.
like a thing. It was just he did it, and he moved on. You know what I mean? I'm like, okay, cool. But yeah, that's the only thing I had to that was like apprehensive at first. But like before,
You've
like
probably
this one even
seen-
came out. Yeah,
You've probably seen the machine bit then. The
That's
one
what
where
I
he
think it
goes
was,
to-
yeah.
Yeah. He
I am
joins-
the
He
machine.
joins the Russian mafia.
yeah. I think I've probably seen that, and that's probably why I wasn't super I wasn't beforehand, before I'd listened to him on Joe Rogan and now seen this one, and now I'm like, yeah, I like him. I'm curious. What
Yeah,
else he's done.
I thought his shirtless thing was gonna take me off too. Like I just expected him to draw more attention to it.
That's what I mean. That's what I wouldn't have enjoyed about it if he was, just spending the whole time, doing stuff with it.
Yeah, just like
having to
shaking his
talk with
titties,
it
like
and
making
stuff like
a
that,
lot
that
of
I was
fat
like,
jokes,
yeah,
but
it's
it
just-
it
yeah.
wasn't.
And it's just he was hot. I'm like, I get that. Up on that stage, he's gonna be
You're
sweating
under
all
those
day.
lights.
Yeah,
Fuck it.
I don't get
Take
to
it
wear a
off.
suit up there.
Yeah.
I respect John Mulaney for that because I'm just like I've worn a suit a few times in my life, and I've sweat
him-
every time. Even in the
Him
middle
and
of
Aziz
winter.
Ansari are always suited up, and I'm like, oh my god, how are you not dripping?
Yeah,
I'm sweating
I don't
watching
get it.
you.
Yeah, same. I'm just like, whatever. Do you guys have like a million fans in the background? Like, get it.
But then you get Joe Rogan who wears a light blue dress shirt in one of his, and by the end of it, it is dark
It is
because he is soaked.
But he's a very energetic, and
That's true.
He gets a little heated when he shouts sometimes. Well, not shouts. Shouts not the word, but yeah, exactly.
Yeah, full body shakes.
Yeah. But yeah, so I watched that. Then I went on a Tom Segura binge and watched
Yes.
all three of his
Good.
that were on there. Yeah.
Oh.
So I watched Disgraceful
Amazing
first,
call.
then Mostly Stories, and then Completely Normal. And it was a great decision to watch.
Yeah,
all of
he's
those.
hilarious. I watched 2 of those this week myself.
Nice.
I watched mostly stories and completely normal.
Nice.
Like he's just a fucking hilarious
He
dude.
is
And I
so
feel like it's just because he's like Bert Kreischer.
Yeah.
Like he kind of just takes everything with a grain of sand. Like, yep. Like the $20 bit. Like the first time I heard that, I was like, you can't go in to a store and them tell you your money is too much. Like,
Yeah.
I know how it works. You put your hand up, or you go to your manager and say, hey, listen, I need more change. And they give you change, and then you can break it.
Yeah.
But having experienced that myself this past February, hashtag Black Panther, like, I associate, like, I feel for what he
understand.
went
yeah,
through.
No, I know what you mean. So I've been there before too. Like this Max by my house, which isn't a Max anymore now, it's a Circle K.
Circle K.
They pulled that on me before too, because I'm like, yo, you guys do cash back? And they're like, no. And I'm like, not even $5? They're like, no. And I'm like, okay. They're like, ATM. I'm like, yeah, I know. I just wanted to get it. So I went to the ATM, took money out, and then I went to break it, and they tried to tell me they couldn't break my 20. And I stood there being like, you're going to break this 20. I don't care what's going to happen.
You're going to
right
break this
now.
20 before I break you.
Like, the only reason I went to that ATM was because you weren't going to give me $5 cash back. You're going to break this 20. So yeah, no, I get that frustration. Yeah, but he just has such like real life stories that just go so like skew and just like I just enjoy it, and he's just he's just funny.
I like that he admits that his hobby is watching TV.
Yeah, that
like,
really struck a chord with me, and I'm like,
So some people
why
are
can't
like,
I just say that's my hobby? I enjoy doing that. I started
I'm a woodworker
because of it, so I have a reason to watch more TV.
Exactly. I'm a woodworker. Oh, is that your job? No.
No, I do that in my
Yeah, some type of doctor.
Yeah.
I do it in my spare time.
Just
I just like to watch my shows.
Yeah, they're just such everymen. That's what I really connect with.
Yeah.
Those. But yeah,
And
so,
his punchlines are pretty funny too. Bikes.
Yeah.
What you took?
But bikes, bikes. And that's why I yell bikes all the time.
You know, actually today on the way home from work, I was thinking, yeah, it's cricket right there. I don't know why it came into my mind. But like,
I don't know. That's just cricket. yeah, no little stank.
No, that man for 25 years.
I don't know. That's just cricket right there. I mean, I seen him.
But I don't know him.
Yeah, we got a surveillance video of you going into the convenience store. Yeah, I killed him. What? Dude, lie.
Yeah, lie.
Kill the guy. You can't fucking lie. Lie for longer. You can still get out of this. Or even just when he turns it and starts making fun of the white kids on it. Like, or Tanner. You fucking decide. And me and Bryson, we went and met whatever. And then we had pancakes. It's like the whitest story ever.
I really like his doctor bit too.
Oh, yeah.
Whoa. You're married?
Just thought you were gay or something.
I liked his little pot shot joke in his last one that came out, Disgraceful, where he goes to see the doctor again and he's getting like his prostate exam.
Yeah.
Which had nothing to do with why he was there.
No.
The doctor's just like, I want to stick a finger in your ass. And then he's just like, the part that stands out for me is just where he just like drowns the hand in lube. He's like, oh, that's why it never worked for me. And you're like, ha! He's like, you got it.
I like how after that, like at the end of that he's saying he's crowning it to his wife, and she's like, "Oh, so you're gonna go back?" He's like, "Yeah, I fucking love that dog. He's the funniest."
So what are you gonna do? What do you mean? What am I gonna do? I got Don Rickles as my primary care physician.
Because I did not see that. That was the direction of that joke.
No, because he starts off.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah, it's so great. Just so unexpected directions for certain stories, and I'm like, oh, that's not where I thought you were gonna take that. Yes,
no,
okay, that's better though. That's far better than what I thought you were gonna do with that. That's why you're the comedian.
That's it. Huh? Mostly stories. And then I fucking killed a guy. It was awesome.
Those were my favorite things. Those like little one-liner things like that. Then I killed a guy, or.
Yeah. I am a doctor. I need a pillow. Stat. And I fucking killed a guy.
Yeah, so I watched those and made my weekend very good. The only other thing I watched that I'll mention this week, because we're doing to this week is I started this new show called Naked and Afraid. It's not that new, but it's on Crave, and I started to check it out. It
sounds familiar. Is that the one where they're like out in the middle of the wilderness?
Yeah, they drop a man and a woman in the middle of the wilderness.
And there's skivvies?
Nothing. Yep, just
they're
butt naked. Butt naked. And they just have to survive for 21 days. They're allowed to bring one survival item each. It's usually just like a hatchet or a knife and a fire starter if they're smart. One idiot brought a pair of goggles one time. And I'm
so
like,
he could go swimming or something? Or?
Yeah, and then he never went in the ocean because he was scared of sharks. And I'm like... and that right there is why I watch the show. It's stupid shit like that of humans trying to survive. It's pretty intense.
You say that. I want to know, what would your survival thing be?
Oh, like, motherfucker, I would die.
Are they allowed to communicate? Like, are him and her allowed to communicate?
Yeah, no, they're on a team. They just have to survive.
Okay.
Like,
so they're allowed to decide what their two things are.
Oh, I don't know about that. That part's a little unclear. The fact that they've never gotten the same item makes me feel like either they're given the items and they just say they chose them.
They're 100% given the items.
Yeah, that's what I think.
This is television.
Because and every time they like get their item, they're like, "Oh, let's see what our item is," and then the narrator says that they chose the item, but the people that are like looking in their bag where the item is, they're like, "Oh, this is what we got," and I'm like, "There's a difference in languaging there." That I'm just like, okay, yeah. So the show gave them these things, and
if you could pick, what would your guys' survival items be? If the three of us were dropped. And we weren't allowed to confer and like to agree with each other, what would you guys bring?
So I'd either go like most people with the hatchet, but I'd see. One thing I know though is there are so many survival tools out there that you could find one that's like a hatchet that has everything you need, like a fire starter in the bottom. That's got like a knife
they make knives. They
Yeah.
make like knives that have the saw in the back of the blade.
Exactly. That's
And
what
they also have like the whole popper for the spigot to put into a tree to drink some water from that tree on the bottom.
So I want
That's one tool.
Yeah, well, I'm saying one tool that also has like one of those life straws. I don't know if that's what it's called, or like it's like one of those filtering water filtering straws. I've seen it online a couple times, and you just stick that thing in anything and just. You can't get a lot of water, but it's got super filtered and it's supposed to be good. I'm like, yeah, stick that inside my axe, okay? Give me an axe.
I thought you were going to stick that inside my ass.
You were gonna say, at least that's not what I heard.
Stick that inside my ass.
I definitely said axe. I definitely said axe.
Shove it up my ass and drink. Ooh, jeez.
Nope.
I mean, the filter's
Good
probably
God.
good.
So we're gonna switch it to a machete. I want to put it inside my machete.
Okay,
that also has got a fire starter on it, and maybe a gun.
Swiss Army knife.
Like,
Swiss
I want a
Army
Swiss
multi-tool.
Army machete. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I know those exist. So if I got to pick, I would do that kind of research. You know what I mean? I'd find some kind of thing like that. If I had to just go if someone had to be like, "Oh no, you have to get in the next 5 minutes from a Walmart," I'd be like, I'd probably get a machete or a fire starter. One of the
emergency blanket.
That was gonna be mine.
Yep.
The emergency blanket to keep you warm at night.
Naked and afraid? Are you kidding me? Blanket. First thing.
They make some pretty big fucking ones that we could spoon the fuck out of each other.
Exactly.
And throw that over us to keep us warm.
Yeah, but you can only survive 3 days. Is it 3 days without water? 2 days without water? Something like that? 2 or 3 days without
You
water.
can find water. You dig a hole. One of us gets matches.
This is again, if we're coordinating or not. A lot of the places they go are like rainforests, so if it's raining, your match ain't doing shit.
That's what you build your little hut thing. You could do it.
With the emergency blanket.
Exactly. Boom. Cook dinner. Eat wallabies, because these are rainforest wallabies. They're imported from Australia directly to the rainforest.
I was gonna say there's no rainforests in Australia that I'm pretty
Allegedly.
sure.
No, these are import. Yeah, allegedly, these are imported wallabies.
Fair enough. Yeah, but the show is it's just interesting to see. The funniest thing about the show too is there's no prize. So
It's just to see if they could do it.
They just sign up because they're all people that have like previous. They're not just letting anybody sign up for this. It's people that have some kind of like previous experience. A lot of the dudes are ex-military guys who do survival training on the side. Like
I've seen a couple episodes, and the guys are fucking useless.
A lot of the time,
there's one where a dude gets like hit by a thistle, and like he breaks out in like the minorest hives, and he's itching, and he's like, I gotta go to the hospital. I was like, dude, throw some motherfucking mud on that bad boy. Let it dry. You won't be super itchy, okay? If I know that shit, what the fuck don't you know
Rub
that
some
shit?
dirt on it. Yeah, sometimes
You were going in. You should have Googled some stuff.
Yeah, well, that's one of the things that baffles me the most is like the slight arrogance of some of these people, like being like, oh yeah, I've never been to this country. I didn't think to do any research before. Like they don't say they didn't do any research, but they're so like clueless
Well, you
about
can
everything.
tell, yeah.
And I'm like, no, I would have read every book on that place.
It's a lot more rocky than I thought it was going to be. Like, bitch, you're in the middle of buttfuck nowhere in Colorado. What did you expect?
But yeah, it's just intense and interesting, and it's real. Like you have those moments like that. You're like, why are you doing stupid things like that? Or like this episode I was watching earlier, they just had zero luck when it came to food. Right? They captured, like, they caught a couple snakes, right? And both times they fucking overcooked the snake to death, like to the point where it was chalk. They said when they tried to eat it, and I'm just like. I hate that.
It was no one watching the meat? Like,
well, it was after dark, I guess, and like the guy was like, "Oh, I don't think it's done yet," and then when he was like, "Oh, I think it's done," he grabbed it and it was just rock
disintegrated.
hard. It was just rock hard, and he started like kind of banging it against something, and it was just like a club, and I'm like, "Damn." Yeah, but that's all I watched this week.
I'm sorry, Craig, what did you watch?
I watched two things that I can remember. I went through my Netflix viewing history, and that's all I found. So that must be it.
Yes.
So I'm going to start off with the lesser of the two. I started trying to watch Paradise PD, this new animated Netflix TV show. It's all right. It's all right.
That's it. Okay.
That's all I got. Kyle Kinane's in it, so like... Good for you.
That was
guys.
why I gave it a shot.
It looked like it'd be up your guys' alley, but I wasn't sure.
Yeah, I looked at it and it was rated TV mature, so I was like, this couldn't possibly be that bad.
Yeah.
It's all right. I'll probably finish it, but it's not.
It's no Final Space.
Yeah, no. Final Space was so good.
See, that's what I was curious about, because I'm like, they're releasing so many of them, and I kind of, I like it.
Between,
too. Like, it makes sense.
Was it Disenchantment or whatever that came out a couple weeks ago?
That
one
PD.
did not sit well with me. Paradise PD's been kind of meh. I feel like they just set the bar so high, just so goddamn high with BoJack Horseman and then Final Space, Big Mouth.
Big Mouth and BoJack come back soon, right?
BoJack was it today? They just released a trailer for it, or
okay, yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think I saw that. I haven't watched enough BoJack to check out the trailer. You know what trailer I actually did see? I'm sorry to interrupt somebody else's list.
Was it the new Big Mouth one?
No, well, I did see that one, but actually I saw one that I didn't watch, but I was curious about, at least Andrew, your thought, and maybe Craig. I don't know if you've seen it, but have either of you seen Sons of Anarchy?
Yeah. Oh, for the new the Mayans.
Show,
yeah, the Mayans. They released a trailer for the Mayans today, and I was curious if you were planning to check it out, Andrew, because now I'm realizing you have a Sons of Anarchy poster literally behind your head at the moment.
Yeah, right there.
Yeah.
I think it's. I'll probably tune in, probably second season.
Okay. See if it lasts that long.
Yeah, but I'm one of those guys. Like, I just want things to be left dead.
That's
like don't.
No, that's what I was curious about your opinion about, because I thought you had told me to watch it when I saw it.
Don't over milk the teat. Don't beat the dead horse. Just let it be. And especially considering it's been like years since Sons ended.
How long has it been then?
Ivy and I say don't make a new show. I say it's probably been like 4 or 5 years.
Okay, I wasn't sure. Like I said, I never was into the show too much. And
no, it was probably 3 years. Probably about 3.
Okay, well that lines up a little bit with how long it took them to get a sequel. 2014. Oh, 4 years.
Oh, 4 years. Okay.
Coming up on 5. Oh.
God damn.
Anyway, sorry whoever's list I interrupted.
You were in the middle. You were literally in the middle of mine.
Sorry, Craig.
That's son of a bitch.
That's fine. I don't really care. The only reason I say literally in the middle of because there's two things.
Yeah, there's two things.
The first one. Family Guy season 16. It came out.
How far are you?
9, 10 episodes, 11 episodes.
Okay, I think I'm at the same. What was the last episode you watched?
Now I can't remember. It's been so long, like 2 hours.
Craig and I talked a little bit about this because he messaged me yesterday about it, and I was like, "Holy shit! I didn't realize it was there." So I went and binge watched it. I'm 11 episodes in. I'm on the episode
8 episodes in.
8. Okay. They do a lot of old jokes. They bring a lot of them back, and it's awesome.
Yeah, but it feels like it's a wrap-up episode or season.
I hope not.
No, I'm not gonna hold my breath on that. I'm 8 episodes. Eight episodes, yeah.
What's the 8th episode?
Crimes. It's when Peter encourages Meg to get out of the house. Oh, when she starts.
Oh,
drinking,
she becomes a drinker. Yeah.
And Brian spies on.
On the principal.
On the principal across the street.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I like that's the episode where they explain the stupid jam joke. I think that's the episode where they explain the jam joke.
I can't remember off the top of my head what's the jam joke.
They're the one where they're all at the Peter Schmidt's house and they're talking about the fruit spread, and then Peter says, "Can you pass the jelly?" and Babs like passes out, and then he goes on to explain why that's funny, including showing the commercial that they were spoofing, and then they bring it back again later, and they get to the end of the joke, but it's a completely different thing, and they get to the end of the joke, and he's like, "See, wasn't it good that we spent all that time on it earlier?" And I thought that was funny because it was acknowledging that their jokes are like you have to be.
Yeah, you have to know.
You have to know things ahead of time, and this is the one and only time they've gone ahead and explained something.
Well, that's one of my favorite things about the show in general is just that it's just chock to the tits with information. Like, you have to know about the world and like hot topic issues and like just everything going on, or so many movie references,
especially
everything.
The Emmy winning episode where they keep referencing other TV shows, and then you have to like. Especially the Girls reference. Like, if you don't know the show Girls, you watch the bit where it's like where she's sitting in the bathtub for no reason at all, and you have to know that Girls is ridiculous for no reason at all.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's not. It's just ridiculous.
I really liked that they brought back the ostrich.
Twice.
Haha. Twice. But I also like that they got the like the over the top like the hillbilly guys, like, "Are you going to bone her?"
Yeah.
Where they bring him in for the episode, and like his punchline is always, "She said there was no way," and they give him a whole minute story of him like with his girlfriend, and he's like, "Do you want to marry me?" She's like, "As long as you can throw a Nerf football over this truck, I will be with you." And then he breaks his arm. And then he's like, "Oh no!" And she's like, "There's no way." And she says it.
That's Follow the Money, the one where they're tracking the dollar around.
Yeah.
Because he's like, "We should go get food with this dollar."
It's such a bizarre episode. I thought they were gonna do it like from the kind of like the episode where they do it from Stewie. I think it's like season 13, maybe 12, whatever it is, where they do like the fan mail one.
Yep.
And they do the Stewie episode, where it's just like life from his perspective for the day. I thought they were just gonna like focus on that money while everything's happening, because there's a bit where they just show the money in Peter's pocket and everything he's doing, and I was like, is this gonna be the whole episode? Like just looking at Peter's pocket while they talk, like the BoJack episode where it's underwater and you don't hear anything. No dialogue whatsoever. But it was not.
That's all I watched. That's it for me.
Well, you guys crushed most of my list for me. I watched 11 episodes of Family Guy season 16.
Yep.
I watched 2 of the Tom Segura specials that Scott
that.
aforementioned. I went and saw the Happy Time Murders.
Oh.
And wanted to
yesterday.
murder yourself? Or...
It actually wasn't that bad. It was a
okay.
lot better than I thought it was going to be. I went into it thinking this is probably going to be shit.
But it has Melissa McCarthy in it.
Yep. It was surprisingly funny.
Oh,
like, very, very grotesque.
Yeah.
Would not recommend taking your kid to see it. And if you do, you're a fucking idiot.
Might as well go take him to see Deadpool. Problem solved.
Yeah, like people did that, though.
Yeah,
that's the thing. Like, I'm pretty sure that's one of the major reasons why Deadpool 1 did so much better in theaters than Deadpool 2.
Yeah.
Because parents are like, "Oh, a superhero movie, let's take Tommy!" And then right out the gate, they're like, "Oh, let's just cut this guy's head off and call someone a fuck nugget."
Yeah.
Boom.
Really, the fuck nugget was the thing you took out of the beginning sequence? That was the worst part?
I said
For
cutting
young
someone's head off. Yeah.
Well, I think any like parent that takes a child to an R-rated movie without like thinking about the R rating, or a movie that has the name
I feel like any movie. I feel
or
like any
dead
movie.
in
Like,
it, maybe don't take a kid to that.
I don't know about you guys, but everything I see, I look up beforehand.
Yep.
Like I know it's coming. I'm never just like, "Oh, I want to go to the movies,"
No, I
and
did
then
that
get
once.
there
I've
and then
never
and
doing
just
it
look
again.
at the poster. Well,
Why
is that
would I
when you
waste
went to
my money?
see
That's when I
the
went to see
13?
the 15-17 to
Yeah.
Paris, and that's never,
Yeah.
ever happened.
We all know that story. You guys can go back
Yeah.
and hear that in another episode.
Yeah.
Nope. Don't do it. But like for me, I look. I'm like, "Oh, what's playing? Oh, this? What's this?" Boom, and I'll look into it.
Yeah. That's what,
Like that's just me, and I feel like that's most people.
yeah.
So don't take your kid to see it. But there was a surprising amount of people in the theater.
That is surprising.
There was a lot of really funny, like just stupid one-liners in the movie. Like
what you
it's
need
as good as it
sometimes.
it's as good as it gets for a live action / puppet movie.
Yep.
But I think the best
Is
part
it?
for me is that
Is it as good as it gets? Is it better than the Muppet movies?
no. But that's just because actually they make a joke that's kind of like a tie-in to the Muppet movie. Like the song "Am I a Man or Am I a Muppet" from like the Muppet movie with Jason Segel. Hilarious. That movie. However, they make this reference, and spoilers, Melissa McCarthy is part puppet. She has a puppet liver. She had to have a liver transplant, so she's got a puppet liver. So she's like, "Yeah, I've had this fucked up thing. Like, am I a man or am I a puppet?" And I was like, "Ha!" And I laughed to myself, and the people in my row were like, "What's this asshole laughing about?" And I was like, "Fuck you guys. That's a good joke."
I love when that happens in a theater. I'm always that guy that laughs at something that people miss, or I laugh at something you're not supposed to laugh at.
Yeah.
That everyone else is just sad about. And I'm like, ah, you're sad about that, people.
That happened at Ready Player One. There were so many good, funny moments that no one laughed at, where I was like, "That's a funny ass joke."
Yeah.
Terrible movie, funny joke.
Yep. Yeah. Well.
But with the Happy Time Murders, I didn't realize going in they got a lot of the voice actors from the actual Muppets
I think
to
it
play
was done
characters.
by the same company.
Yeah, it's Jim Henson's kid who did it.
Yeah.
But it's actually like a Jim Henson Productions movie, I believe.
Yeah. No, I think
But
so too. Which.
But it's his kid who does it.
Yeah. Okay.
But the main guy is the guy who's the voice of the Swedish Chef.
Oh.
So it's so weird because I was like, his voice kind of sounds familiar.
Yeah.
Why do I recognize this? And then I IMDb it later, and it comes up as a Swedish Chef, and I was like, oh, okay.
This explains a lot.
But it's weird to make that connection because from one guy you hear very concise,
Yeah.
precise language, and the other one you just hear. You're like,
Best
what?
dialogue in any Muppets.
Yep. Other than like Beaker.
I knew you were gonna go to Beaker, and I'm like, I hate Beaker's voice. It
I
annoys
love
me.
Beaker. Beaker's my favorite because he's always. "Ah!" But that just takes me to another part, and it was so funny. Like they have the Happy Time Murders is about like people who are on the show like Happy Time whatever, I forget what it was called, but it was a TV show.
Yeah.
Whereas all puppets and Elizabeth Banks. She was the only live action person on the
Was
show.
she trying to be a puppet or trying to be a
No,
teenager?
she was a human.
Oh.
It was just like a family or whatever.
She didn't
like in
pin up
this
her
house.
hair slightly on one side and magically
No.
go from being 26 to 16. No,
Nope.
none of that in this movie.
No, not in this movie.
I don't
No.
want to see any of it then.
Well, I mean, it was kind of wet and hot. It wasn't American Summer though.
No.
But
You're welcome for the.
fuck, Jesus.
I know that tangent.
Anyways, so these people are dying, and there's two characters in it who play like lovers, but they're actually in real life cousins, and they call them the kissing cousins.
Oh.
And they go to their place, and it's called Adam's Rib. And it's a rib joint, like a barbecue joint,
Yeah.
and prayer center.
Yeah, no, I got that one.
And I was like, that's a funny joke.
Yeah.
But they go into the house and they hear screaming in one of the rooms. So Melissa McCarthy and the main guy, the puppet, they're going through the house. Phil Phillips, I believe his name is. They're looking through the house for stuff, and Melissa McCarthy walks into this room and sees someone like sitting and staring at the mirror, just screaming, and turns and looks at them. She's like, ah! And she has one eye right in the middle of her head. And then the brother or the sister, whatever the fuck it is, turns around and looks at him, and he's got 3 eyes all along their head.
Oh, God.
And then they both just start screaming. She's like, oh, God, don't fuck with the gene pool. And then she walks out, and I forget what it was, but, it's like, it's fucking Children's the Corn in there. And he's like, you want chili with corn? Because they're at the other end of the house, like trying to like whisper talk at each other, and they have no idea what's going on. It's like, you want chili with corn? What? Child porn? What are you talking about? And just that, that classic. I have no idea what's going on. It was just the joke about the gene pool thing because they've got the fucked up like puppets. That whole scene, I laughed, and then I was like, they actually had to go out of their way to make inbred puppets just for that joke.
Yeah, they go very far to get that joke to work.
That's it. But Joel McHale is in it.
I heard that.
He's kind of a dick, but you love him because he's Joel McHale.
That's Joel McHale.
That is Joel McHale.
Especially in all his movie roles.
The joke they use for him every time is asshole says what? Like, asshole says what? What? And every time they get him and they laugh. He's like, I don't get it.
I don't get it.
Like, you're an asshole. Oh, and Stanley from The Office is the lieutenant in it. And he swears, which is weird to see. He's kind of like... He's like lazy like Stanley, but he's also like Florida Stanley, where he's kind of a badass.
His mantra: live fast and leave a sexy corpse.
That's it. I always feared turning into Stanley, and now I just don't think I can keep up. So next up on my list, I watched the first 3 Hunger Games movies because they were on this weekend.
Hey, Elizabeth Banks is in those too.
Yeah, she is.
Oh yeah, she is.
There's some good casting in those movies.
Yeah, they're well done.
Like,
yeah, I don't even hate on those
some of the
movies,
characters.
which I normally
they're not my favorite, but it's something
there,
like
yeah. They're not as good as Harry
like
Potter, but
no, but they're pretty good.
yeah, they're decent. They're better than a lot of the other YA
post-apocalyptic,
adapted, Maze Runner and shit like that.
Yeah.
No, it's decent. They're good. You know, they did it well. Like I never read those books, so I don't know how well they're adapted, but I got the story.
Kendall was telling me there's a few things that didn't adapt properly, but overall, I enjoy them. I mean, there's some parts where I was like, a little too much.
Yeah, a little over the top, but okay.
Why wasn't there a revolt sooner? Like, why are people psyched about this? But whatever.
That's what I was thinking most for those kind of movies. I'm like, why haven't you guys done this sooner? Why did it take this chick to do it?
Yeah.
No offense.
Like
I get
in
it.
the first one, the most believable part is like I believe it's the I forget what they're called, like quadrants or whatever the fuck it is.
Yeah,
district.
Like sector 3.
District.
Yeah, the district. Yeah, District 3. And there's a little black girl named Rue, and she dies. And when they do like not her funeral, but her announcement or whatever in the district, one dude just goes nuts and just starts beating the shit out of everyone, and then the whole district starts rioting.
Yeah.
No words are exchanged.
Yeah,
no real looks. Just one dude goes crazy, and everyone's like, "Fuck it, riot, let's do it."
Mob mentality. Yeah.
That's it. And I was like, that is the most realistic thing that has happened this whole movie, is that they're just sick of everything.
Yeah, no, definitely. But yeah, no, they're well done. They're good action. Like, they have a good balance of action and storytelling, so I enjoyed them.
Next up, I've got Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, because it was also on TV this weekend.
I've been reading to rewatch all the Harry Potters, and I just haven't gotten to it yet.
It's not my favorite, but I do enjoy it.
That is one of my... Well, see, that's funny you say that, because it's half my favorite, half kind of not. Because I hate certain things about it. Like how fucking pale he is. Like, I don't know why that bothers me, but it really bothered me. Like how...
I feel you.
Like
my big thing is the hair, okay? And this isn't something that's going to...
Yeah.
This isn't going to piss anyone else off, just me.
No, I'm on your
the
side.
fact that he can go from one where he has like short hair, and then in theory like 3 months later, the next school year, all of a sudden his hair is 7 inches longer.
Yeah, he's not Scott Carter. He doesn't
Like,
have Scott Carter hair.
what is happening? Your hair would not look like that after just a couple of months.
Yeah.
Someone in wardrobe need to figure this shit out.
Yeah, no, there was that, and there's something else about that one I didn't really like. I think it was because they're at that weird, awkward teen phase.
Yeah.
Not why I'm like a little off put by it, but I like that it's got like a dragon and the contest. It was like
Yep.
it's the first one that had like a really cool idea behind the thing. Like the first book I
You
read.
get to see more animals anyway. Like
Yeah.
more of. Yeah.
You get more stuff, more magic stuff in it, like more of the magic world, and
Yeah.
yeah. Oh, I like that
It
one.
wasn't just Hogwarts. It was that
Exactly.
that there wasn't just wizards or wizards and witches in England. They're
Yeah.
everywhere.
They're everywhere.
Everywhere.
And there's more than one school.
Yeah. That was one thing I didn't understand, how they had the kid, like Victor Crumb, like, who looks like he's 40,
Yeah, that part.
who
was
plays
very
on a
confusing.
professional Quidditch
That's
team,
super confusing about
but he's
it.
also like 16.
Yeah, it's like, wait, why? Do you guys not have like rules against that? Is he like some special Quidditch LeBron? Like,
Yeah, like
it's
it
weird.
was just that was one thing that was super weird to me. I also didn't like that they made the female character just a little too much of a puss. Like Fleur Delacour, she was just totally useless and couldn't do anything. That kind of bummed me out. I would have liked to see.
That's a
in
little
both
from
the
the
book-
books, though, too, a little bit.
I know, well, in the book and the movie,
Yeah,
just
she's
I
just
would
a
have liked
cliche,
to
yeah.
make her a little more badass. Kill Crumb because he sucks.
I think she marries
but-
one of the Weasleys eventually, if I'm not mistaken.
I'm not sure. I can't remember off the top of my head. I don't think so.
I think that's a book
Does she?
thing. I'm pretty sure.
Maybe.
That's not important. it's
That's not important.
it's a weird
at all.
detail that popped up into my head when you
Yep.
said her name.
Next up, I watched the first episode of Paradise PD and thought it was ridiculous, so I tapped out. I watched Crazy Stupid Love this weekend.
Is that
Steve Carell.
Yeah, okay. I just wanted to make sure I remember
He Who
that.
Must Not Be Named.
Yeah,
Emma Stone.
I don't mind that one as much.
Julianne Moore.
That's probably
Kevin Bacon.
That's the first time He Who Should Not Be Named was in a movie that I was like, oh, he's not the worst. Like, he's not the worst person on the planet. He's not. We're not gonna
For
get
those of you
into
who don't know who must not be named, it's not Voldemort this time.
No.
It's Ryan motherfucking Gosling.
it. Yeah. I know
See,
you
I
guys
no
have
idea who
certain
you guys were
feelings
talking
about that.
for a second, but now I'm going to watch that because he's in it.
It's not a terrible movie.
You
I'll
listed
give
all
it
the
that.
other people, and I was like, hey, that actually sounds like a pretty cool thing. I have no idea who they're talking about right now.
And then boom,
And then
Ryan
you-
Gosling.
Then now I know it's Ryan Gosling. For some reason, I thought it was Kevin Spacey. I was like, yeah, that makes sense.
That would fit too.
That explains why you wouldn't talk about him. It's weird that he's in that movie, but I mean,
Well, he's crazy and stupid.
yes. Things we do for love.
The things we do for love. Like touching little boys in our basement from that episode of Family Guy. Anyways, the other thing I watched was CSI. I crushed a couple
Oh right, yeah,
seasons
you
of that.
you texted me about that.
Yeah.
You started with Ted Danson, right?
Obviously,
Yeah, Ted Danson, and then because Ted Danson took over as the boss,
For
and then
Lawrence
after
Fishburne.
once they got rid of Lawrence Fishburne, they brought in another heavy hitter actor. Ted Danson's amazing.
It's the only way that show can still stick around because
Yeah.
when it started,
Well-
it had nobody.
Well, it was weird because they went from like Grisham, who was kind of an eccentric guy who knew
Yeah.
a lot of stuff about a lot of stuff,
He was,
and he was just a weird dude. And then Catherine gets promoted to lieutenant or whatever, and she becomes the boss.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, okay, cool, whatever. You know the character, it works. And then they bring in Lawrence Fishburne, who like he attracts attention to his character, but he's not the boss at all. He's just like a dude.
Okay.
But then like he does some stuff. I'm not going to spoil it for you because I think you should watch it.
Oh,
But he
should I?
does some stuff. He does some stuff, some super shady stuff. Loses his job,
Oh.
leaves, and then they bring in Ted Danson to take over for Catherine.
Oh.
She gets
Sounds
demoted.
interesting.
Ted Danson is amazing.
Somehow I've missed all these like subplots that
Yeah.
are apparently in CSI. When
Yeah.
all I could remember is people die a lot.
People die a lot.
It's always the third dude. It's always like the third suspect.
It's always the celebrity. If there's someone who you've seen in something else,
Yeah.
it's them.
Yeah, they did it. It's like, yeah. Figured this game out
Yeah.
10
But
years
the
ago.
Episode 1,
Yeah.
when they bring in Ted Danson, I believe it's called like 73 Seconds is the episode title.
Okay.
Stephen Amell is in it for like
oh, right. Yeah, you said
13 seconds. He's a security guard, and you're like, oh shit, Arrow, goddamn.
that. Yes. Now I gotta watch this whole show just for those 15 seconds.
Just for that, worth it. Son of a bitch. But Ted Danson is so worth it. The dude, he's another eccentric character. He calls every time they have a meeting, or like he calls the whole CSI gang together. He's like, family meeting, and he just texts it out, family meeting, or he just yells it, and everyone goes and meets. And then he always like solves the crime with like a stupid story,
Oh, I love stupid stories.
or like he'll ask a question that you don't realize has anything to do with anything.
Yeah.
And then like there's one episode where it's nothing seems to be tying together, and he asks, and like a dude dies in a drive-through for some burger joint. And he asks the guy, like the cop on duty, he's like, what did he order? Oh, no, I think it was Brass he asked. What did he order? And he's like, number 17, I guess. And they can't figure out why he asked.
Yeah.
And then later on the episode comes up where he's like, you guys ever heard the story of, I forget what the story was called. And he tells the story, he's like, no, it was the horse, the dead horse. And it's like, there's a dead horse somewhere, and they're talking about like who murdered it, what happened, this, that, and the other thing. But then the captain in the story asks, okay, well, what color was the horse? And all these cops, no one wrote down what the color of the horse was. So he's like, you got to pay attention to everything to solve everything. And I was like, man, that actually makes a lot of sense.
does.
Ted Danson, you're
Yeah.
a subtle fucking genius.
How does the combo though tie in? Like, did that solve the crime? What
Yeah,
he
it did
got?
actually, because it was one of those things where they're like, the 17 that they ordered was like the number 17, which was the guy who killed everyone in the story, or in the episode.
Yeah.
The guy who killed everyone, his football number was 17. And there was a football with a like a game ball with the number 17 on it that had all sorts of like drugs and stuff in the football.
Okay.
So the fact that like he ordered a number 17 combo was kind of like to tie it in. That's what gave them the idea to go and look at the football.
That's a stretch. They're really stretching.
It was a stretch, but the story was cool.
Stretching things at CSI now. They used to have evidence. Now they're like, yo, 17.
This guy got a burger. He
Oh.
always had chicken. Well, that was another thing, because he ordered a 17, but this guy went all the time,
Oh,
like
and
every
he
day,
normally got-
and he got chicken
Okay.
nuggets.
But this time he got
So that was the thing, yeah, because he ordered.
it wasn't
the
for
guy.
him.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, I get it.
Yeah.
I kind of get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Anyways, what else
Let's
did you
watch the damn episode.
Yeah.
That was it. That was my whole list.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess we're at the end of our episode then, aren't we?
That wraps it up.
Oh, well, that's
Pretty good.
yeah. I don't have anything else really to say.
Me neither.
Thanks for
Tune in
joining
next
us this-
week when we tell you about other stuff.
Yeah.
Just like
Thanks for listening.
last week.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Bye.
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 It's based off our names.